It was all promotional stuff at the end of that. So
It's all
yeah.
promotional stuff. All right. So next thing that we want to talk about then, character balance changes. We got 12 of these to go through.
All right.
DJ, you've been taking more extensive notes than I have, so
My
hit
notes
me.
suck still.
Hit me.
All right. So at 3, she gets harp proficiency now. That's kind of cool, especially since they added more harp characters to fire.
Like Mugen. He
Yeah,
obviously is
Mugen's
the most
pretty good.
musical of characters.
Mugen's pretty cool.
He's really
They
good.
also changed a different character. We'll talk about that later. Other than that, so with her change for a CA, it used to really suck. Really, you got 10% dodge rate. Woo.
10% dodge. Woo! Woo!
All right. So now I cast skill 1, and her skill 1 has been changed,
So,
and that's way better than 10% dodge rate.
look at the whole. Looking at the whole, they've changed her design to be much more like Drang. So if you have Drang or if you have Sturm, then conceptually you'll understand a little bit better. Where she has two stances now. They've changed her entire design to say instead of her skill 2 being one uh, dance and skill 3 being another dance, they've just turned those into passives. And then they've sort of wrapped up a bunch of other things into her skill 1 dance of delirium. Where,
Oh man, remember how you had to do some stupid timings in order to actually like because you couldn't have both dances up at the same time,
yeah.
and they both had stupid long cooldowns.
Well, it was what, 3 out of 7 for each of them? And you had
No,
to, like, dance them?
the skill was 3 out of 8.
Why?
It's bad. It's
Oh,
really
it's
bad.
because it was her skill 3 and it never upgraded. That's why. It's still bad. And then, oh my god. The shield was 500. It was a 500 shield, DJ.
That's really pitiful.
We're gonna get back to that later. Alright, so anyway. So, alright, her CA now casts her skill 1. Her skill
Yeah,
1 gives her dodge up, hostility up, and others, very importantly, other self.
yeah. One time other self. Is this the same as how Six and Seox and Vicala's other self is?
Yeah.
So it's for the turn. That's sick.
Well, it's yeah, it's one X, but yeah. Before it was 50% dodge, and it's like, oh come on.
Well, it's still 50% dodge, but you also get this now.
You also get this. All
So you're
right,
guaranteed the dodge,
her
and
skill. Yeah,
also
go ahead.
they up the dodge and the hostility up from 2 turns to 3 turns. That's
Yes,
nice.
it's really nice. So her skill 2 is now just a stance change. It's just like Sturm and Drang. So when
Yeah,
she's in quick tap, which is a passive, then uh when she dodges, which is going to happen way more often now, with more turns of hostility up and more turns of other self, then she extends hype duration by 1 on all allies, and she gets a stackable attack up.
really good.
In silent tap, she's then while she's in silent tap, she heals and does a stackable defense up on dodge.
Also really good.
And then captivation is now CA standby to herself, so she can give herself other self on command. I would like to.
Yes.
That's very, very important to a character who really relies on dodge. And then it
Also,
gives uplift, shield, and hype to all characters in her party, which used to require her to dodge.
now she just does it.
Now she just does it.
And also, she's gaining more meter. And so when she's gaining more meter, she can get CA again.
Yeah.
Did I
So,
also mention how good that Fire Fist is at sustaining right now?
with or without Mugen,
Even without, because Frau exists.
it's Frau, it's Valentine Scathaha, it's
Anila?
Anthuria, Anila. Yeah, there's a lot of good. That seems, yeah,
Yeah.
seems good.
So I'm like, do it, ship it.
And then the thing is that dodge tanks are getting more and more shine with characters like um, Tanya getting pulled out for Bubs. It's like if you have a character who can give themselves hostility up in other self on command, then it's like, yes, yes, please, please dodge these attacks because they can just murder me from full health.
We also watched that one time where yours didn't dodge at all.
We don't talk about that one.
That was funny.
All right, down to Percival.
All right, so Percy, so he got his light versions. On CA gets 20% meter. That's all right.
But only at plus plus, so he needs to be level. Well, he needs to be 5-star. All right, that's fine.
That's fine. He
His
also
nuke.
got his nuke getting crest.
Yep. Which matters later. This is
Yes.
the really big part. X Seal is a delay. It's not just
It's
a
not an empty button half the time
more than half of the time. It is a button at the very beginning of the fight, and then in 60 seconds, then it's gone. It doesn't do anything anymore.
because you're not fearing anything ever again.
Mm-hmm. Traumarai, his self buff, its CD goes down. Yay.
Miguel
And
changed it.
depending on the number of crests that he has, then he gets buffs. So at 1 crest, debuff success up. 2 and 3, double attack and triple attack. 4, crit up. 5, keen.
I'm
And
gonna say
that's
this right now. I'm glad they gave the Debo success up on the first one.
yeah, yeah. So now you can just go Zorizon, Traumarai, Exile, and then
Yes,
debuff success up. Not just matters on the Petrify,
but
but
also works on the
it
delay.
works on the delay. Yay. Kingly Aura, the one thing that used to give him slightly more effectiveness on himself for fire attack up, now gives himself fire attack up based on the number of crests.
That's
So
kind of better because the thing is that it was 30% a fire attack up if he has fire attack up on him.
and it was really picky. Did you know that? It had to
I
have
did
the
not know.
exact icon fire attack up.
Yes, yeah, you're correct. So now it's you don't need a fire attack up. You just need crest, and he doesn't reduce his crest like his light version, so
hmm So
he gets to have a fun field day.
yeah, ideal vassals. It now provides the attack up earlier.
That's that's all right. Earlier means when he's by himself. I
Yeah,
don't.
whatever.
If we get to that situation, there's a problem.
Yeah. All right. Uh, Water Narmea. I like this character. I used her back when she released. She was really bad on release. Well, it was a different game when she released.
It
She
was really
wasn't really
bad.
bad. She was just really
Ru-
specific. Her
No,
entire
she got rid of health. Remember?
she was
On
really
release?
specific. I tried so hard to make this character work, DJ.
I
So
know you did.
so she used to have to try and cast her skills 5 times in order to get like the best use out of her.
Now
So
it's
all right,
maximum 3.
her CA gives herself other self. We're gonna get
That's
back to
good.
that. It's really
Well,
good.
I'm gonna say when you want to be dodging, that's good.
Physical endurance. Her skill 1. The amount that it gives her for double attack, triple attack, up. Yay.
So the thing is, I was looking at the wiki for the numbers on where DATF was, and it doesn't tell me anything past the first stack.
It's just really sad. Okay, let me just tell you that right now.
And the first stack's 2510. So okay, that's okay.
um, this is the biggest thing. Mental focus. Her break assassin no longer requires break. Cooldown lowered. The amount of attack it gives you is lowered because it doesn't require break anymore. However, anytime assassin, very
That's
good.
fine.
Yay.
Especially someone who has chasers on stuff.
hmm So every time she presses a skill, because it used to be, she just wanted to press buttons as often as possible, especially since she used to lower a random skill cooldown on every CA. Did you remember that?
I didn't.
Oh
I
wait, you
didn't
don't
look
have
at. I
that
didn't look.
character.
Nope.
So they changed her. This is her second rebalance. She used to lower a random skill cooldown by 2 turns on her CA.
It's bad.
They changed it to being 2 times mirror image, and now it's going to be other self. The other self part, really important. So, Fanciful Flutter currently gives her about, after pressing buttons 10 times,
Huh, about that.
it gives her 30% dodge.
So they released that number of times you need to dodge. I mean, you need to hit a button,
Yeah, so now she'll eventually get to 30% dodge in 5 buttons.
which is more reasonable.
Pretty reasonable. And then this is the important one. She's Tanya. I keep bringing back Tanya
Well,
because
she's Tanya, but the problem with this is that she doesn't have a way to put hostility on herself.
I'm okay with this.
Yeah, but it's just one of those things where if you want someone dodging, kind of want to make them have aggro too.
Sometimes. Um.
Not when she hits skill one, definitely not when she hits skill one.
hmm So, um, I'm going to try this. I'm going to try this really hard. I'm going to try so hard to make this work. Like I don't know if you understand how much I want to make this skill set work. I've tried
I
so
mean,
hard for so long to make
it's
this
better
skill
now,
work.
at least.
hmm
It's better on paper now.
All right, Aglavale. I only had a picture of his white day lying around when I searched my image folder for Aglavale, so don't worry about that one. He mirrors Percival. What a shock!
Oh, skill one does crest.
Skill 1 is a crest. Duration of Cold Cage is now 2 turns if it lands. It used to be 1 to 2 turns, and if it landed, it was only one turn. You're like, why did I? What is the
Why did
point
I
of
even do
this?
this? Yeah.
Like, um, Dynast's Men, which is the equivalent of Percival's Traumarai, water attack up based on his number of crests. Absolute 0. The support is now available from the back line. Schneetreiben. I massacred that word. Um,
We don't know how to speak this language.
the CD is down to 6, just like Traumarai. Um, first stack, defense up. Second stack, revitalize. Third stack, veil. Fourth stack, fire damage cut. Fifth stack, dispel guard.
All right, so when the things I have problems with right now is stack 3 and 5.
Veil to self and dispel guard to self.
Yeah,
So
because Catalina's exists.
here's the other big problem. He doesn't have Percival's 5-star CA yet. So he
That's also
doesn't
true.
double cast. He doesn't double cast Zeraisen.
Well, one of the things is that it's so easy for water to get their crests.
With Lily.
Yeah,
That's fair.
and that was actually the problem I had with looking at his absolute 0 as well.
hmm
Is that there are there are many ways for water attack up to be put on by CAs. Does this stack with CAs or no?
I have not tested personally, so I'd have to check Wiki.
I'll check wiki right now. Da, da, da.
Water attack up. It looks like standard ass water attack up. Out of 5 chain, it's 35% though. As opposed to, let's just take a look at Lily. We're gonna compare this to Lily because it's direct competition where her CA gives water attack up to your team.
Hers is 25.
Okay.
But it's like if you're using, it's not a necessary thing
hmm
at that rate because Cat does it too. It's really unfair comparing things to Cat. So comparing things to Lily is actually better.
See? Compared to Lily, a regular ass gotcha character. Yeah, totally. Anyway, so yeah,
I mean, he's a regular Gothic
he's
character.
he's missing a lot. So, um, I'm I'm not really looking forward to this one. He'll be better for the people who like Aglavale. A lot of people like Aglavale. Look at this guy.
He was cool in the event.
Yeah, but still got problems.
Yeah.
Speaking of characters with problems,
Oh, okay. So Threo.
so all right, let's talk about her old design. So her skill 1 and skill 2 changed depending on if
Her
you were
stance.
in axe or in sword. And the way that her skill 1 was designed then you would have to cast it on turn 1.
Garbage.
You would have to cast it on turn 1 because it gave you a 5-turn duration skill or skill buff, and then it would be a 4-turn cooldown. So you had like a 1-turn leeway to cast this again and be in the other stance.
Yeah, there's problems with that
Because the
design.
other stance for her skill 1 would give her a buff only if her first skill was still active.
Correct.
And it was just CA damage. That was your
That was your reward.
that was your
Did you have
reward.
fun with that, guys?
And then her skill 2 would also change, and they didn't have anything to do with each other. So her skill 1 was counter on dodge, and then when you 5-starred her, your reward is that she also gained attack up.
60%. The unique's kind of nice though,
It's
but
fine.
it's fine. But you're still in the stance. You have to pay attention to your stances.
And then if it's a yellow skill, then she gets hostility down and jammed. And the jammed only mattered because of ground 0, to be honest with you.
That's true.
Alright, so anyway. Complete rework of skills 1 and 2 because they were garbage.
All right, so skill 1, it just costs jam no matter which stance you're in. That's
Yes.
good. That's another attack source, regardless of anything.
When she's in Axe, she gets Drain for 1 turn. It heals her for
Eh,
33.
which
Because,
is
she's
way
3-0.
better than her old skill 1's healing, where it was 1500 if you were not below 25% health, and then 3000 if you are.
Yeah, she only healed herself for full if you had already ground zeroed.
It's not even. It's so bad. It's not even. The amount of HP you sacrifice and then the amount of HP you get back was not worth.
Mm-hmm. Berserk Forge, Axe mode, still not very good. Instead of counter on dodge, it's counter on dodge and damage, but there's still no hostility involved. So, I mean, if she takes incidental damage, sure, then she'll counter. And drain happens off of counters, so she can heal herself for potentially up to about 13k in a turn if the exact right circumstances happen.
However, the upgraded version of Berserk Forge.
So then in sword mode's the prize. She attacks without taking a turn.
Oh no, she also gets the her axe form gets hostility up finally at the upgraded version.
At the upgraded version, sure. The upgraded. So at plus plus, which as a reminder is level 85, so you have to have spent at least 2 gold bricks on this. It's hostility up and the counter on dodge or damage. Okay, sure. And then she'll, proc the drains. Sword mode is 30% Earth Chaser and attack without taking a turn. And her upgraded supernatural support. So 2 different things happen. So her old supernatural support skill
Was based on if you had which buff.
yes. New one just says, okay, screw it. We're unattaching this to from Vorpal Rage. She just starts with lethal attack dodge times 3. Pretty good. She just resists death the first 3 times. She just refuses to die. And then at level 90, she gives herself a buffed up version of the Rock Fist passive, where it's the third attack of a triple attack gains 300k supplemental damage. And given that she has Earth Chaser and attacks out of turn, this can add up a lot, especially when she triple attacks guaranteed.
Attack.
So, I want to see this in action a bit, but the fact that she still has to CA to get into sword mode, and her axe mode is still not necessarily the greatest. Like, it has uses. Like, they're clearly wanting you to get her hit, and then she just drains for 13k that turn. and then switch to sword mode and then become an attacker or something.
Did we talk about sword mode Vorpal Rage?
We talked which one, the new one or the old one?
New one.
A little
I don't
bit.
think we did.
Oh wait, no, we didn't. Supplemental damage for 30%. So she'll do a lot of extra damage on that sword mode turn, like a lot. Like
Yeah, guaranteed triple tag with the.
with supplemental and extra supplemental and chaser.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Except you really like you said earlier, you're really edging on being on sword mode most of the time if you want to be attacking like
Mhm.
this.
Like you really want to be in sword mode. We'll see if her axe mode ends up being useful, but I'm
On
not
paper,
on paper. It's not necessarily great. It depends on a lot on this hostility up.
it's not terrible though, like it was before.
Fair enough.
That's the thing we have to go with.
So Valentine's Medusa. Um, so Scared Stiff is getting unattached from her CA.
My note on this was good because her skill one already did it.
Mm-hmm. And it's another of those things that gets resistance really fast. Uh, so it now casts her skill 2, her nuke. Um, it inflicts poison. If you've cast it 7 times, then it casts 3 times in the same turn. The CD is changed to be higher until you have her at level, 75? Whatever. Same CD. If I remember right, they reduced the amount of damage on a single cast of it.
I mean, let's be honest. You only got like how much? You only got
600k.
like you only got 60k more damage
Mm-hmm.
if before from the poison.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that she's casting, we'll talk about this in a second. Actually, let's talk about this now. So one of her new passives is that she's able to cast it when the foe CAs as well.
Yeah, and that's important because of her skill 3, because you just wanted her to be able to do that on her skill 3, like... Essentially, she was a one-cycle character before, where you would
Yeah.
just plain hit her skill 3, you would trigger one boss trigger, you would fill up your entire meter off of that plus 50% meter, you would chain burst, and then you would probably be done with the fight.
Now this actually just she's just constantly casting spells now.
So she's actually better at doing more than just one cycle. So, I'll try it out. I'm not really, like, super sold on it, because as an Earth Fist character, she's competing with herself.
Her other self, which is pretty good. Yeah.
Her regular gotcha version.
Fire.
Dante. Dante's a good character. Chicken. Yeah. It's got to be hard to find a spot for her in the right place to make this skill set shine.
Oh yeah, my note here also. Thank God they replaced her passive 2.
Immune to being stoned.
All those water enemies that are gonna stun you.
Yeah.
Stone you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Look,
Anyways,
yeah, it was very flavorful.
it was flavorful. It made sense, but no.
Moving on to Gawain.
All right.
So he's going to become a spear character. This was not in his notes specifically; it was at the end, but I mean, it makes him more usable. Would you like to know how many other wind characters have axe?
Isn't it just him?
Pretty much. You would
Oh,
have to
yeah,
dig deep into like the SRs and Rs to find anybody. I'm not even trying to. So going back to that 500 shield thing is
Oh, that was garbage.
now it's 1500, less garbage. There are still other characters that want shields to be on your team though, so it's better synergy with the rest of Wind. So it's like with Skathaha, for example,
Mhm.
he will just passively provide the on his CA the shield that she wants in order to give your entire team chaser, for example. Like he'll prevent Like he's much more reasonably going to prevent, say, Seophon from taking damage and breaking um his sword shines. He might actually kind of sort of keep Yodahar alive.
Well,
Um,
1500 is not a laughable shield because I went back to my notes and I'm like, Anil is only like 1000, so or something like that. So it's like this is fine.
yeah. Um, for Fracture, uh, it was his attack down, so the damage increased. Sure.
That's
Uh,
fine,
at plus plus, it also applies Earth attack down, which is good.
which is which is better because a lot of things resist the normal attack down now.
Mm-hmm. And the attack down success rate is increased. That's needed. That thing was
Garbage.
old. I was gonna say old. Um,
I'm not gonna be
yeah.
harsh, not harsh on these ones.
Skill 2 was literally only useful back in the days of playing
Oh,
Summer Zoe
win
in
entity,
Wind.
win entity. Yeah, hit this 1 million something new.
Now you can just attack for that 1 million. Yeah. So it gives him jammed. It eats his max HP, which is something that we're very used to now, and the CD is lower, so he can force himself into enmity while giving himself an enmity button,
Which also helps with his new passive.
which is he has Garrison and enmity as his passive. So Black
Better
Knight.
than just, but yeah, my own was this is just Black Knight. Better than just 10% defense.
And his old Phalanx, 100% debuff to allies for the turn.
That's actually pretty big.
It's pretty big. Um,
Because normal links only gives you like 40%.
and Anila gives you 50%.
Yeah, there is a small chance you could get debuffed.
Mm-hmm. So, pretty useful. There's a lot of things that you can do with 100% debuff resistance.
You mean like when fights say you can't actually veil?
Mm-hmm.
Ah, yeah. I wonder what fight is that.
So Carmelina. Carmelina has been redesigned so many times.
Oh god, remember how 10 seconds?
It was either a 10 or a 20-second gravity.
That was garbage. But it did its job sometimes.
So then they gave her mirror image to everything. All right. So anyway, Warhoop, her nuke. Um, so time has gone on, and the double attack, triple attack down has gotten more and more valuable as people
Hmm.
understand that they could just die to triple attacks. Unfortunately, she's in the same element as Urius, who can also give double attack, triple attack down. But it's also more than a 10% defense down
Oh
now.
my god, yeah, yeah. My note was increase defense down from 10% is good. That thing sucks.
Mm-hmm. Cause yeah. So wait, does Urius not have double attack, triple attack down? There,
In his list,
estimated
I
shits. Hold on.
don't think he does actually.
Who does that then? It's Feith. It is
Yes,
Feith.
that's why I sacrificed my first turn
Yeah,
when
you're
I'm
right.
right.
Okay, hold on. I was like, because we wait. There's a bunch of local double attack, triple attacks down. So Shalem does it. Who does it for themselves? Does Tabina even do it? I'm gonna go check Tabina now. Because double attack, triple attack down. Yes, that's Tabina I was thinking of. She has local double attack, triple attack down. So
Local's
that's one
fine
that
and all,
Urias
but you
doesn't.
kind of want to help the raid. Please help the raid,
I mean,
please.
yeah. All right. So next up, debuff resist down stackable.
It turns from Sackle and from being just 15%,
Mm-hmm.
and also does damage now.
Yes.
That's cool.
Uh, attack specs up while mirror image is in effect on her, and her CA gives her mirror image. So it's sort of like a mini monkey.
Also, the fact that you're playing Wind and Wind Magna has a lot of
Mirror image.
mirror image.
There's just playing a lot of mirror image in Wind, just
Yeah.
period. And then new support skill, CA damage, CA cap up based on the number of debuffs that are on the enemy. Sure.
Yeah, that's all right. That's
So,
cool. She actually does four. If you actually look at it, she does four debuffs on her own. So that's actually pretty cool.
mm-hmm. Actually, she does 5.
Which one's the fifth one?
Gravity.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. She has 5. That's pretty good.
And hey, this hasn't come up before, but she's Dagger. The Hollow Sky Dagger actually cares about number of debuffs on,
Yeah, you're right.
but usually you just hit the Urias button a billion times. Let's keep moving on.
Look. You're giving them something.
All right, so De La Fee, June 9th, she's getting a rebalance along with later in the month, maybe June 9th, but probably later in the month, getting a 5-star. This character has also been redesigned a bunch of times, which is why I get confused about what she does now.
Because we don't really use her.
So Jewel Mirror, it used to be counter on dodge with, once again, no hostility up, so it just sort of sits there. With a duration of 2 turns, oh baby, and it gave her Chaser, and the Chaser stuck around until she took damage.
That was cool.
So,
Now,
they say that it's stronger, and she gets a shield to herself in order to preserve her stuff longer, and she doesn't get the counter on dodge. She doesn't need it. It was never useful anyway.
she
Goodbye.
just doesn't want to get hit, period.
Yeah. Glorious Flame. So that was her nuke, which did 10% light defense down as of her rebalance. So now it's going to do more light defense down, and it has Dark Attack down.
But yeah, the Dark Attack down's nice.
Yeah. Regen. So it was a 10
Alright, this is
turn.
what I made a big note on. Is like, actually heals on use. That's kind of cool because it only gave you Revitalize.
Revitalize as the only ability. Like, sure, it was better than it used to be Refresh, but it was still no good.
Yeah.
Glimmering Barrier. She gets debuff resistance up while shielded. This is just going to be passive. It's going to be on her pretty much all the time unless you're actually taking a bunch of damage.
Oh yeah, my other note on here was that for skill 3, it lowered the duration by 2 turns, but decreased the cooldown by 3. So I think that's a win.
Dude, 10 turn cooldowns just never come up.
It's garbage. It's like, when are you gonna use the skill again? If the fight goes on, why is she here?
You'd be better off with a different character.
Exactly.
It's like, bring Sandalphon. He's better at long fights. Bring Albert. Bring this guy.
Bring Cyril.
So, new Saruel. So, Quick Raid, previously one of the worst buttons in the game because it did like 100k, but had like a short cooldown.
Something.
But it was just like, I don't want to press this button. I'd rather just hit the attack button. So they realized that on Hellas they made it a passive. Well, guess what? He also has this passive.
Woo.
So every 3 turns he just does light damage and gets skill damage cap up, and it works with Percival.
I really hope they just name his support skill to Quick Raid.
It is. It's actually called Quick Raid.
Okay.
It's just like Hellas. Now Courtly Blade gives attack down at ++ when he hits level 90 was it for this one?
Checking the wiki.
Yeah, level 90. At level 90 when he 5 stars, he gets Dark Attack down as well, more damage, attack debuff success up, and then the cooldown, which was 3 turns, is now 6 turns.
I mean, that's fair.
Defensive utility good.
Yeah.
Veil, already really some of the best defensive utility in the game. Now he triple attacks this turn. Hey, that seems familiar. Doesn't Vera have that on her Veil?
Yeah. Hey, guess what? It goes up to 2 turns at level 95. That sounds familiar, Vera.
Yeah. All right, well, hold on. Spoilers. The new first Prince of Iristil passive. Every ally gets double attack, triple attack up while not debuffed. If you're Magna, you will take any and all double attack, triple attack buffs. You will take any of them. So it's like, yes, please, give me more.
The wiki translated as when Serial's not debuffed, so we'll find out later.
Oh, did I get that wrong? I'll have to look that. I will look it up right now, actually, and I can fix that.
I mean, wiki could be wrong too. Let's be honest.
Well, no, I could be wrong here.
That's true.
I do a lot of things all at once. Okay, so no, it's Mikata Zentai.
Because
It's all allies.
When they are not buffed, or what?
It's a little fuzzy there.
Okay.
That's why I left the wording a little open. It's either he's not debuffed and everybody gets it, or it's per character who is not debuffed.
Okay. Well, let's leave it at that. We'll find out when the rebalance happens.
All right, Vera. When's the last time you used
Yeah.
the dark character Vera, DJ?
Do you want me honest or do you want me to lie?
Is the answer never?
The last answer was 2018.
That's later than I thought it was. This character's been out of date for a while.
Oh yeah, she has. And well, her changes are pretty nice.
So, her CA now reduces all of her skill cooldowns by one. That's something that gets a lot of use when you are a Mira. Who?
She also her Earth version did this too,
Mm-hmm.
but her Earth version was 2 turns. This is fine because if you look at her cooldowns right now, with the new changes, there's a reason why it's 1 turn.
Because there's a 4-turn cooldown on Lair Rise 2 now.
Yes.
Attack down stacking, defense down stacking, and then attack defense up stacking to herself.
My note was, even if it's not permanent, this is way better. Even if it only stacks to 30% on enemy, this is way better. Goes down to 4 turn cooldown instead of 7. Why was it 7? Was my notes.
So Tom also said that if it's like Wind Cereal, which probably has the same wording, then it's when Cereal himself is not debuffed.
Okay.
All right. The heal to herself on Affection
Oh,
Oath. Uh,
my
is,
notes on this one used to be a 9 turn cooldown nuke that healed for 1500. Why?
it's
Now
so
it's
bad.
now it's a 6 turn cooldown nuke for 3000 heal.
And it gives Dark
Also,
Attack, Dark Defense down, Light Attack down, Light Defense down. So 4 debuffs.
yeah,
And then the Blade of Light support skill, the Lumi Merge mode, has more attack up, more defense up, more double attack up.
that's I'm alright with that.
Mm-hmm.
That mode was really good to begin with. Let's be honest, but it had a 13. Remember, it had a 13 turn cooldown and turn uptime. Let me
Well,
just CA 3 times in here
yeah.
somewhere.
I mean, that's like I said, that's exactly what Amira does. So they're just taking they took their notes from Amira and went, "This works. Let's put her to this character." Remember, well, and the thing is that Amira actually does use all 100 meter in order to transform. They actually had to take that off of Vera because it was garbage.
Well, also the fact that Veer can't steal meter from your allies
And
and
the
the
enemy.
enemy.
Yeah. All right. Last update to a specific character, Olivia.
So Olivia wasn't bad, but
She had
uh,
she was
her
also
numbers.
a one cycle character basically.
Yeah,
I want to say Silver Lake. It's Sterling C. Sterling C. Once you would get Twilight Terror. Then you would probably like press her buff and get her double slow, and then she would die.
she'll more likely die.
I kind of forced the issue by just usually deathing her after she'd hit her buttons because her buttons are down forever.
Yeah, they kind of fixed it.
Like it was a one cycle character because fights just didn't last that long, or she didn't last that long.
It
Like
was either or. Yeah.
anyway,
So
so Sterling C. Um, it used to be just double attack down and Twilight Terror along with a little nuke. Um,
they actually didn't really change much on this button.
Damage cap increased. So they called it multi attack down. So I wonder if there's actually a triple attack down in there now, because it didn't say double attack down necessarily in the JP. It just says multi attack rate down, effect
Yeah,
increased.
that's different, and they usually are specific if they say doboru ataku.
Yeah. Second skill, the delay is now an
It's
AoE delay.
everybody.
Um, cooldown lowered by 2 turns.
And then it becomes a six. Yeah, so it's a 6 turn, not max.
Instead of 8. Eight
Yeah, that's
turns,
way better.
8 turn cooldown on a delay, and you have to wait on that delay in order for it to be a double cast. Oh my god. Like, you just wait forever for that thing to be up. And it's just, by the time it could come up again, she's dead. Like at least
or you're
Quad
dead.
Spell does a bunch of other stuff along with the double delay. Um, then Nevermore, the effect is totally redesigned.
It needed it. Let's be honest.
She gives herself a shield. Um, she gets a veil to herself. She gets a buff that only ends after she takes damage 3 times instead of just being 2 out of 7. 2 out of 7. Um, and then during the buff, it is now triple attack up. So that's currently the effect of Nevermore. 30% TA. I wonder if they'll keep the number. I don't know. Crit, which is also on current Nevermore. Debuff success up, which is also on current. Damage cap up. Dark Chaser. Those are new.
Yeah,
The Dark Chaser, she used to just plain give herself on a new Dusk Shell Dawn, which I believe she still does. So she can give herself 2 chasers. The Fallen Angel support, it used to be 10% Seraphic to herself when she has Dark Attack up. Now it's supplemental instead of Seraphic.
I mean, given that, what's it called? It only worked against light enemies. Her old one.
Mm-hmm.
This is better.
So, like, I just enjoy the fact that there's a chance that she might actually press the buttons a second time because a shield to herself is very important to have when her entire kit just involves, oh yeah, you take extra damage.
Hell, she only takes extra damage against light people.
Sure.
She could still probably die. Yeah, you're right.
All right. So the last things that are involved, a bunch of characters are getting their weapon proficiencies shuffled around. So Anne is going from being a spear character to being a spear and staff character, like Shalem.
To be honest, I thought she was already staff
Uh,
because it made
every
sense.
time we mention Anne, our friend Daryl, who played Shadowverse, just like curls up into the fetal position and just waits for the fireball to hit his dome for 20. Um,
She brought friends.
she brought a lot of Mysterian friends. Very good Mysterian friends. Her getting staff doesn't actually mean anything, honestly. It just lets her into the fraternity of water staff characters
There's a
who
lot of
are
good
all
water
better
staff
than her.
characters.
Like, who are all better than her.
I think they just added it for flavor at this point.
Yeah, they just wanted to be consistent. Mage equals staff. Anthuria gets harp, all versions
But
of it.
she's
So
because dancing.
Dark Anthuria, who is already good enough to play, is a harp character. Um, there aren't really. It's like her and Ko are Dark Harp.
Are they both fighting for
The
dodge
same
slot?
kind of, yeah. Um, but the fire version getting harp very significant.
Oh, I found another character that has dark harp. Muse third years.
I knew it was going to be an idol. All right, Grand Light Vera gained spear. So Light Axe had to have an exact composition.
Yeah,
Now she gets to be in more teams if she wants to, or just benefit from things like Spear Katana or Ultima Spear. All right, cool. Kimbira and Vera both are Spear and Axe at the same time. Good job, girls.
yeah. They can now be best friends with Jean d'Arc.
True. Triple attacks everywhere. When you are missing a triple attack from Jean, you just press the Vera one. Uh, Gawain gets a spear. He gets to join such great characters as Grimnir, Hellas. That's really enough.
They all
um,
give shields.
Sochie, she gets the dancer update. Her wind already had harp, so this is just updates water to have a new harp character and fire to have a new harp character.
Hmm.
Um, this matters more for her water version than it matters for her fire version, in my opinion.
Considering that fire harp is pretty good.
It has Mugen and it has Anthuria. Um, she's
And
not
she and
bad, but
she. But the thing is that for Anthuria, you don't want Sochi to be dancing at that point.
Yeah, you kind of want Antheria to be the one who's actually getting the hate. For
Yeah.
water gaining harp, it does something. It'll eventually get there. It's just they need more harp characters in the game. Um, Magisa gets the same change that Christmas Magisa got. So
It was
she's now a Fire
pissed.
Fist character joining an extremely crowded lineup.
All right, let me look at the Fire Fist characters list. Eliza, Anila, Antheria, Frau, Gondagoza, Greya, Colin, Mugen, Nina Drongo, Ryan Hardzar, Skaza, Sochi, and Subasa.
This is mostly for
That's a very
consistency.
this is a very stacked list.
It really is. All right. Melissa Bell Wind gets the same axe proficiency that Valentine's Melissa Bell has. That makes her the second axe character in Light that's not SO. So you
Meaning
know,
wind.
but it also lets her be on axe fist teams. So that's actually relatively
That's the better
meaningful.
part.
It, it opens up some things, and then
All
this
right,
is the one that
the
people got
biggest
big mad.
controversy.
It's not even a controversy. It's just something that people are big mad about. It's like we've talked about how Sword is the most crowded in every element. So their solution to that is to just say, you know what, UL has katanas now. They're not swords, and so she's katana and harp, just like Ko.
I love the image that's on foot where Grant's fighting Beelzebub and it has him in arm lock, and then Yul comes in and says sorry Doncho and puts down her sword.
She's like, I've never liked swords. I saw that one.
That was so good.
Um, but she's now katana harp. Um, and
You
I
can
mean,
now actually make a harp team
you know, actually make a harp team. Uh,
because you have
I
Aido, you
I
have
do
Mugen.
understand that people will get mad that everybody recommends building an Ultima Sword first, and UL is a popular character in a bunch of elements. Um, like she and Sochie are there, and people like having them both in the same team. So I understand where people are coming from on this one. Um, but I really feel like when it comes to Fire UL, no one's using her anyway.
There are people who do use her, but
Yeah, that's fair. I just it's so crowded.
it's
It's
way too crowded.
so crowded that losing a sword character and gaining a harp character, sure, like very few people have built an Ultima harp. But
There's
the
there's a good
reason is because
reason.
there's not enough harp characters, so they need more. Does this feel artificial to some people? Maybe. Does it seem
I felt
arbitrary?
like with like changing with the wind one, I felt like Lancelot did the same job pretty much. With
Mm-hmm.
the full team chaser. So I'm like, let's just give this to a different elements, not elements,
Team,
different
weapon
team.
team.
Yeah,
I mean, in Wind, so Wind Harp is the only crowded harp team. So now
yeah,
she gets
that's the
to fight for
ironic
that
part.
spot.
But she is me with Sochi.
Yeah, but good luck to her cracking a lineup that includes Neon, um, Sochie. Sochie is actually very good in Wind. Um,
Vera,
mm,
Potato.
Vera, I'm up and down on. Um,
Vera actually has some good stuff in Wind.
yeah, Ariette I actually enjoy using a lot. Um, Sulfira probably could use some work, but it's the only actually crowded harp team. So unfortunate for that version. In terms of
Yeah,
water, like the literal only reason that I'm using her at all is because I wanted someone who wasn't human for Lily. That's it. That's the only
yeah,
thing
sounds
that she
about
had
right.
going for her. She's sword and she's not human.
Well, now she's gonna be harp and not human.
hmm
No, that's about it on that.
Now with harp in water, it's like Lilel.
She doesn't work with Lil.
No.
That character needs to be reworked.
Whew. So anyway, yeah,
Diantha.
she actually does work with Diantha.
But
Anyway, so
that's about it in water.
yeah, so poor Ul. She's got problems, and taking away sword doesn't really change those problems at all. It doesn't fix any of those problems. Fix
It just moves the
problems with
problem somewhere else.
they move the problem somewhere else. So they're trying to solve one problem, which is there aren't enough harp spec characters in the game at all. Like, let's just take a look at harp characters in any element. So it's like
14.
we've got Chicken. She's really good. Like, how many of them are collab idols? So let's eliminate Kaede. Let's eliminate the first years, the third years. We've got Aoidos, he's good. Chicken's really good. Neon's good. Katsulia is really good, but it's not because of his weapon. He actually could probably be really good without ever attacking. Vera's fine. Diantha's fine. Selphira is a little outdated. Sochie is good. Kaede is a collab character. Collab character, and Ko.
Okay, Ko's good. I
Ko's
like
good.
Ko.
But it's like, then you add 4 Yules to this. And, some of the missing things get filled in a little bit. We now have enough to actually build a water harp team in well, that none of them really like have anything to do with each other, but don't worry
Well,
about it.
two of them are idols.
Thanks, DJ.
Yeah, that's about it. I don't. But you really don't play the lull
You just don't play
because
the Lel period, really.
she really needs work. Come on, side games.
We'll get back
She
to her
actually
at
has
some
not.
point.
She has not been changed at all since I played this game.
Yeah, they'll get to her eventually, maybe someday.
Or they're just gonna rework another Vera.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my stance on it. Where it's like I personally don't really get affected by it at all because if you just look at let's go Katana female Arun here. I just don't use her. Like I loved Fire UL. She was one of the first SSRs I ever got.
That's why she's EMP level 54 for you.
Yeah, but this kid just doesn't do it anymore. It's all right.
Really? Oh God, remember before the 5-star?
Yeah, this character was sad, but now the game has passed the point where she is needed for almost anything. Like the water version, like I said, I
The
get
chaser's not that great, but it's there.
yeah. Meanwhile, if you get to other, even just in fire for just harp characters, I don't have Mugen unfortunately, but Mugen just gives your entire team permanent chaser sometimes, maybe randomly.
No, I'm just keep rolling until it works. Every time he rolls, he gives you his meter, so it's like whatever.
um,
Every time he CAs, he's able to roll again.
team wide chaser you can get with let's see, where was that? This one. Bonus fire damage to affect the allies with shield. Like, there's just a lot of different ways to do the same thing now. Like, she's lost. You can just do it by having Tsubasa on your team and just taking people to throw downtown.
I was about to say, so we're kind of being unfair because those first two we listed were limited, and then you listen to Tsubasa.
Just all you need to do is just stare at them, and you get a bunch of chaser. But yeah, um, it's the start of something that they're probably going to need to do to come back to in order to get people to play UL again. Um,
They
I
haven't
know that
actually
there are
updated her
people.
kits since like 2016.
Hmm. But like, the character needs more help than that. I understand that people are mad that they took away one of those things that she already had, but it was a pretty tenuous link to playability that she had in the first place, and so this is an attempt on their part to start something new, to give Harp something, and also just be more consistent. Dancer equals Harp,
Yeah,
or I guess shout really loud equals Harp.
I mean she does spin her swords around in a dance.
No, I'm talking about Mugen again, just trying to figure out
Oh,
how
okay.
that kid is Harp.
He comes from a harp. I don't know.
The, that's another flavoring question that can come in later, but it's just like the character needs help. This was
Yeah,
not the help that people were figuring would come. Like, I understand it's disappointing to people, but this was not a you will rebalance, and hopefully she'll get more. But
well,
our
we'll
dancer
find
class can
out.
only use daggers. Okay, okay, look. Good night,
Well.
everybody. We've gone on long enough.
We're finishing before 11 at least.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.